Good morning. It is still technically Easter, but there's no rest for the wicked. I just woke up and I started working on my script, but I also prepped, so I have freshly baked vegan croissants as well. Perfect snack for writing my gourmet cookbook, I feel like. Also, I love this plate. I recently just found it in a thrift shop, but blue porcelain like this, I am absolutely gone. This is from Germany. Yo, so I thought instead of just talking about a thrifted piece that I found recently, I thought I wanted to do a proper show and tell. We're gonna do a thrift haul because I just spent a weekend away. I have made, personally, and in my opinion, some really amazing finds that I want to show you. I found these small chopstick holders in a thrift shop. I got 4 of them and I paid roughly £1.50. Okay, so tiny things for the beginning. Then I already showed you this. I have started to grow a little bit weary of using these sorts of plates, like really old cutlery plates, etc. for hot food, so I'm only gonna use them for cold food because of lead poisoning. You can also test your cutlery mugs and porcelain products, etc. for lead. I haven't done that. I am scared to know. I don't want to seek out that knowledge because I feel like I'm going to be depressed, but I probably should. Then, this is a blast from the past. I actually got a single-use product. I'm not going to use them single-use, but anyway, in a thrift store, I found these paper bags. They are from Haribo. How do you say that in English? Like, I've heard people say Haribo. That sounds awful. It's called Haribo. I don't even want to discuss it. But when I was growing up, you could get pick and mix in like baker shops, kiosks, different places, and you would usually get your pick and mix in these bags exactly. It's about 100 bags for £3. I could not help myself. So because I have this little pick and mix station in my kitchen with like different sweets, you can now take a little bag and you can put it in a little bag. And I'm going to reuse the bags obviously because it's not broken from having candy in it once. So flippin' stoked. Anyway, this I do believe is from like a cow market. I think this is from a livestock market or like a livestock seller. It says like how many kilograms of milk and percentages of fat and kilograms of butter and just all kinds of things. So I think this has something to do with livestock and like buying and selling livestock. I'm obviously neither buying nor selling livestock, but I thought this could be fun to have in my kitchen. I have several old pieces sort of like this. I also have these small like coupons for fat you could buy at the butcher back in the 50s, and I have those hanging as well. I think it's really fun to have those like really old things, and those were heirlooms, but this I just got in a thrift store and I paid £10. I have a plan that I want to cover my walls completely and thereby completely screw up my deposit. What do you know? Then I went to the thrift store. That was not a thrift store, but that was the shadiest flea market of all time. They had so many different things and they were really nice, but they had that flea market energy where you also definitely got your tail to go with your product. The first thing that I found is this, and I don't know how old it is. I don't know where it's from. I just know that it's fragile as all shit. It looks museum old, but what do I know? I don't know where it's from. The guy that sold it to me told me it was from the 1500s, but he told me something else that was wildly inaccurate. So I think he was just like jamming. It's not as old as you would think, I think. It just looks completely worn down because no one took care of it. I don't think it's 300-400 years old. And speaking of tales that are mildly inaccurate, I got this limestone little, maybe he's a salamander, maybe he's a little crocodile. He's pretty heavy, and I was told by this guy that it was very old. It was so old, you guys. It was so old, and it was used in Africa where people worshipped it as a god. That was what he told me. It sounded inaccurate. It looks more like he was used like as a doorstop or something. Like he's completely bashed up. He's also missing some of his tail. I paid £14 for this. I think that's very okay for whatever he is. He could be like a tourist knockoff or something for all I care, but it's a really good quality stone. Then I come home. Now the investigative part begins. I come home and I see that underneath it says Matimera B. So I Google Matimera B and find out that there's an artist from Zimbabwe called Matimera, or like Bernard Matimera, and his art pieces look exactly like this. And they go for between 1,000 to 3,000 euros. However, I could also see that a lot of people have been imitating and copying his art to sell it cheaper. So this might be one of the cheaper pieces. I have no way of knowing because I'm not too familiar with his pieces, and I got it from a guy who thought it was a god. And he was also very much like, they live in like small sheds. This guy had some stereotypes about the entire continent of Africa. I was like, they have universities, sit the fuck down. Imitation or not, I am really excited about it. And then I learned something about Matamera. The next piece is probably haunted. I showed it to my friend and she didn't want to touch it. This is a bridal veil and a flower crown made from fabric. And it is encased in this glass box, beautifully preserved. I think it is incredibly beautiful. My friend didn't want to touch it. It feels haunted. It might be, but I think it's so much fun. I love this and I paid 10 quid for this. Haunted or not, but I also have a human skull in my living room, so I feel like we might just lean into it. These are wall decor. First of all, I have a framed photograph of a Jesus statue made by Bertel Thorvaldsen. Bertel Thorvaldsen is my favorite new classical artist and sculptor. I adore his pieces. I go to the museum in Copenhagen every time I get the chance to. I am very much indeed enthusiastic about this. And this is a really good quality photograph. It's a beautiful frame. I have this plan to do like darker frames and darker works of art in my hallway, and this fits perfectly. I paid 17 quid for this. I'm okay. A huge overlap between people that like Jesus pictures for Jesus and people that like Jesus pictures for art history. Both are valid, both are valid. The last thing I cannot show you like this, I'll put in some b-roll afterwards, but it's a tiny little sign that says like free serving between 10:30 and 10:30, and it's like dad humor. I don't know, I think it's funny. So it's red, so I put it in my kitchen because the wall I have in my kitchen with art is like very like red warm tones. It fits perfectly, and I like to look for smaller pieces that go in between my bigger frames and my bigger pieces of art. So I think this works really well. And that is everything that I got this weekend. I had to take the train home and this was a challenge. So I just bought a shelf system for this little nook in there. I haven't really been able to figure out what I want to put in it. And now I come to the conclusion I need a space for my dehydrator. I'm eventually going to get a microwave as well, because only having an oven is just not energy efficient when you're heating up leftovers. So we're going to do a little more pantry action. I also need a place for my fermentation projects, for my pickling projects that's not in direct sunlight. So this space is actually going to be perfect. It's not going to be the, you know, cute little library nook that I thought I wanted it to be. It's going to have a little bit more of a practical function, but I need to be space conscious when it comes to the amount of space that I have. So I think that's what we're going to do. But right now I have like an old school table there and I have a big mirror, so I need to move these things out of the way, move those things into the living room, and then put up the shelves. And I measured it out. It just fits, so I will have to place them like this into the shelf. I cannot just move them in. I'll see what happens. First of all, I'll have to move these things. Okay, so once again being practical as all heck. By the way, these are pretty heavy, and I got them secondhand via Facebook Marketplace. Had to carry them 2 kilometers back to my apartment. I did have help, luckily, but this was a project last night. I love this mirror so much. It's so beautiful. I'll need to find a good place to hang it. Yeah, there is a good hook for it in the back. So luckily this, like the backing is restored. This is so nice. So we'll have to find a good place for it. I have no idea where to place this, but now it's going into the living room. It's a family heirloom. I cannot get rid of it. I love it. It's beautiful. Just fits. Okay, this is what it looks like now. As you can see, It just fits. Actually, this is incredibly satisfying. Okay, so much storage space. We'll need to make it cute as well. I'll have to hang something on this wall so this isn't just like a bare storage room, because even though it's practical, we're going to make it cute. And this is where we are with the shelf. I also just hung up a picture. I also just hung a picture here, but this is my piece de résistance. Not quite, but it's definitely practical. So I have a lot more space for other things. This is just what I wanted to put on it now. So we have my different pickling projects, then I have all the things I have dehydrated, then the dehydrator, and then some plates. I have a gravy bowl, I have my juicer, and cookbooks. Okay, I'm really excited about this. This is perfect. And I want to keep it in sort of the red-blue-ish color scheme, tying the blue and red details in the painting. Another project that I am currently working on is removing the old backing from this frame. There is a picture inside, and I want to change the picture that's in it so I can use this for something else, because the picture that's in it is not really my vibe. I'm going to save the picture, by the way, I'll show you in a second, but all of this old tape / glued paper backing is just crumbling away. So I'm going to take up all these small nails and exchange what is inside and put something new in. This is the picture that's in it. I love the frame. I'm not really sure I am into the photograph / print of just a little sad girl. That's not really where we are, but whenever I exchange like the photographs or paintings or anything of the sort that is in these old vintage frames, I'll put my print or what I want to put that in front of it so I can always change it back. And there's always the old thing underneath. Like, it's completely wrong to just take out this print and just like crumble it together and throw it away. I would never do that. So I always just make sure that it's in the back, that it's kept safe. No matter if it's like a worthless print or if it's an original piece of art, I always save it. Which also means that when I will change what I have in my frames at another time, I'll be reminded of where we started out. And I think that's cool too. So that's how I stay cool with all the ghosts here. So I am deciding which way to go. On one hand, these are both some of the drawing / paintings that I've done just for fun. So we have this one. It's very simple. I didn't mean to do anything with it, but I love like big chunky lines, brush strokes, and I think that's pretty fun. And the other option is this double skull that I did a while back for the Marla clothing collaboration. But I don't know if I want to do like a skull in a classic gold frame. That might be a little bit too emo teenage dream. So I think I might end up going this way. I can always change it. This could be pretty fun. Both options are solid. Okay, I changed my mind and I put in the skulls. This is a little bit too random for something that represents the thing that I do in a degree where I want to hang it on my walls, but I've always really liked this drawing. So it went in. And now it looks like this. Okay. Also, always make sure to tape the back and secure the back when you're reframing something in old vintage frames. The material can crumble, there are rusty old nails in this stuff, so make sure you're being safe, and also this just makes it a lot more sturdy. And this is where I put it. It's almost at the floor, but that's okay. And then I have all the rest of the wall here, but I really like it. Also, don't mind me and all my rolls of toilet paper out in my hallway. This is like my fire escape and it's full of toilet paper. I need to clean up in here. I am working, I have a meeting in 30 minutes and I'm just having some lunch. And one thing I just realized that I did, and I didn't really do it on purpose, it just sort of happens, is that when I have my lunch, if I'm not like creating a dish that I take pictures of and then I have that for lunch, that often happens, I make my lunch in a to-go container. Whenever I've been working outside my home, I bring my food in this. And I started doing my lunches even when I'm working from home in like a to-go container as well, because sometimes I forget to have lunch. So this is sort of a way for me to create some structure in my workday, because I know I have my pre-packaged lunch that I would have if I was at an office. I would at a certain point go and take my lunch in my little to-go container, and then have it. So I sort of do the same thing even though I work from home, because when I work here, there's no one to remind me to eat or take a break. I can just keep going for hours. And I think having my food as though I wasn't at home is a step towards creating more healthy work schedules or working routines. I think that's what I'm doing, because it's working, because I'm having my lunch and it's like a nice salad and it's good. This was just a forkful of peas. And the funny thing is, like, sometimes I'll do this with like pre-made leftover foods, but I just made a salad 10 minutes ago and put it into this container so I would eat it, because this is now the thing that I do. I don't have anyone to sort of tap me on the shoulder and say, now you're doing something unhealthy, or like, you need to create boundaries for yourself and your work. You gotta do that yourself though. You're in charge. You're responsible for your own well-being. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, gotta back to work. Talk to you soon. I am a little bit hungover today. Just FYI. I had a dinner party last night with some of my friends that sort of evolved into a cocktail tasting night, which was sort of where it all went wrong. Or not wrong, because we had a great night, but I am so beat and I have so much to do today, so that's nice. My friend Vanya came over and cooked me dinner. She was very specific that I was not supposed to work or do anything, and she would be taking care of everything. Get yourself a friend that sees how stressed out you are and brings ingredients to your home, cooks you dinner, and just let you sit there with a glass of wine and just, oh my god, she gets me. Get yourself a friend like that. That is chef's kiss. Anyway, I just did a little bit of makeup because I will be going outside into the world, and whenever I am hungover, I want to look at least like I am not, because looking like crap and feeling like crap is just not a vibe. You can feel like crap, but then you have to look nice. That's sort of that's how I get through my day sometimes. So I think it's time for another fit check. I put on some lipstick, I put on a shirt, and I feel pretty ready to take on the world, even though I am I'm not feeling great. I went to bed at 1:30, which isn't even that bad. We didn't go out. We just stayed in and had cocktails. I was tipsy, I was feeling it. We ended up going to Burger King to get their vegan plant-based chicken royale. And I normally don't go for that kind of stuff. But for full transparency, it's nice that when you're drunk and vegan, that there is shitty food for you too. I appreciate the amount of plant-based options that these big, evil fast food corporations offer. I even made an impact video about fast food. Even vegan fast food is not the most sustainable thing in the world, obviously, but once in a while, especially in that sort of scenario, you go for it. You go for it. Anyway, the outfit. Okay, so I don't even have my shoes on yet, but I just wanted to show you sort of where we are. I have a tweed jacket and this little thrifted bag with a vintage scarf. And girly is feeling the 80s today. I'm also wearing thrifted plastic earrings. Anyway, we're just gonna put it on. I think I'm just gonna go with some normal Chelsea boots for this outfit, just for comfort. No heels, that is not happening. It doesn't look like I want to throw up, so that's nice. Okay. Happy Sunday, everybody. I woke up around 9, slept in, it was amazing. And then I basically went to my kitchen and started prepping, because I have one of my good friends, she had her birthday a couple of days ago. A week. Anyway, my gift to her was that I wanted to invite her over for dinner, and I thought what better opportunity than to practice some of the recipes that I am currently writing for my cookbook. So it's going to be a 4-course menu. Is this something I have the time to do right now? Maybe not, but it's meditative as all fuck. I love standing here in the kitchen, just spending hours and hours prepping these different elements. I just set the table and we're going all out. It's white table cover, iron down, silverware, everything. It's going to be crystal glassware. We're going all out, and I want to show you the different dishes, of course, obviously. So I'll vlog a little bit as I serve them, I think. But yeah, other than that, this is the last thing I'll do for this video, and this is very exciting. I have so many microgreens I need to use as well, so this comes at a perfect time. Anyway, I don't know what I'm dressed for right now, but I'll need to vacuum and sort of clean up the apartment now that the table is set and the elements are prepped. I think I have 12, 15 different elements that I've made, and most of them I've just prepped so they are in glass jars like this and ready to be used. One thing I'm particularly excited about are these tortellini. Very nice, with an anti-food waste filling filled with potatoes and spinach stems. Very exciting, very delicious. And then we have bread. I did something really fun with the bread, not with the bread per se, but with the butter. Just walking away, coming back. So I scooped the butter out into this little stone bowl, and I sprinkled some of my stinging nettle powder on top. So it looks really nice and it's ready to be eaten with bread on the side. Okay, I'm gonna put this on a table so you can see it. Isn't this nice? I just scooped it out with an ice cream scoop, put my stinging nettle powder on top. I dehydrated that myself. And yeah, I think it looks really nice for the table. And here we have the dishes. I made an appetizer, a palate cleanser, then I made a main course, and then of course a dessert. And then we had sparkling wine as well. It was a magical night. I also made a dedicated YouTube short, so if you want more specific information about the dishes, you can go and watch that as well. I'll link that down below. And that was everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!